Hey, yo, everybody. This is the Fantasy News. I am Justin Moe.
I'm Heather Moe.
And I'm Nathan Moe.
And it's been a long time since we have done some reporting on the latest pop culture in sci-fi and fantasy, and also the happenings of the Fantasy Network itself.
Indeed.
We have some great things. This is actually very exciting. So we've got some very exciting things that we're talking about today.
Yes.
As you know, it is October now, and it has been several months since our last official Fantasy News video.
Been at least 6 or 7 months with all the coronavirus happening.
Yeah.
Right? The last one we did was at the beginning of the quarantine.
That's true, yeah. The quarantine kind of just threw everything out of whack.
Yeah.
Our friend DL was talking about how if things are out of whack, then they need to be in whack.
Huh. I'm gonna ponder that all day.
Props to DL for coming up with that first.
Yeah, what does it mean to be
Yeah, what does it mean?
in whack?
That's like you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but are you ever whelmed?
I'm simply whelmed today.
I'm simply whelmed today. I am in whack and whelmed today.
I am in whack and whelmed.
That's something that I'm just going to start
Whack and
saying.
whelmed.
It's like,
In whack and whelmed.
I'm in
Sounds
whack
like a
and
game.
whelmed. Whack and whelmed today.
Whack and whelmed.
So since our last episode of the Fantasy News, we have had some progression. A lot of progression in the Fantasy Network.
That's true.
We are international. The Fantasy Network is international.
We almost spilled my coffee. I think I caught it with my finger.
That's good. Viewership. I have a demographic breakdown. No, a Demogorgon. We are going to be talking about the Demogorgon, sort of, later on. Yes, I have a demographic breakdown
I only hear Demogorgon.
of of our viewership in other countries besides just the U.S.
That's awesome.
And we have people watching from around the world. So in the U.S., our viewership is 67%. Great Britain is 12%.
Nice.
Canada is 12%.
Canada.
So we have people watching from up there.
I have friends in Canada.
You do?
I have friends in England too, actually.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So you can shout out to them and be like, "Hey,
Wow.
watch the Fantasy
out.
Network." In Denmark, we have 3%.
That's cool.
In
Denmark.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we have some viewership in Denmark, and that is fantastic. People in the U.S. who are watching the Spanish versions of the programs, that is 2%. And then Belgium has 2%.
Yeah.
So,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
That is
we
so
have
cool. I love that.
we have viewership from various places, which is quite an accomplishment.
Do we have any viewership in the Upside Down?
I feel like we have constant viewership in the Upside Down. It's kind of terrifying.
By the demographic organs.
Demographic organs.
Yes!
I don't like that.
The
All right.
Demogorgon graphics.
Michelle has been writing on the Fantasy News website, releasing many articles, some of which have been written by myself.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing the content creator interview series, and I write up an article, and Michelle edits it for me, and then she posts other things in the pop culture of sci-fi and fantasy, as well as other interviews by different sci-fi and fantasy directors and producers.
And how do we find those?
We can find those at thefantasy.news.
Cool.
We'll continue to release content creator interviews, and some of them will be video content, some of them are written, but they're all on the website, thefantasy.news. However, there is an article that was posted. Falco! Punch!
Horrible timing.
There's an article that really caught my interest, and I thought we should talk about it, and it's about the Lord of the Rings Amazon series.
Yes.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. What is happening with this series currently?
Well, they had a timeline in which they had to finish production and release it, or their contract was null and they would be done, wouldn't be able to release it. Looks like their timeline is still going on despite the 6-7 month delay. They are currently filming as of this month. It's supposed to be back into production, and they're still aiming to release in 2021. So we'll see. So their $1 billion budget, which is the largest in TV history ever, will not just go to waste. They'll actually be able to use it. It looks like. We will keep you guys updated as we find out more information.
Yes.
I can't even comprehend that much money.
I know, right?
You legit come up with the science to create actual Middle Earth with that much
Yeah,
money.
seriously. I think most of
There's
it,
a lot of
It's
people
a reality
that would
show.
love
Lord of the
to
Rings is apparently a
create
reality
the
TV show
actual
now.
Middle Earth somehow.
and I think most of it is still being filmed in New Zealand too.
Again, the series is slated to take place in the Second Age.
Yeah.
So
Where-
we may see all kinds of things from
Yeah.
Sauron coming to power and forging the One Ring, and a young Galadriel. We may see
Yeah.
Gandalf again.
I would love to see the making of the rings. That's so cool.
Yeah. There's
Like the actual lore behind it.
there's a lot
The
of
Lord of the Rings.
the lore of the rings. I love it.
I set that one up. Do you want to talk about the Stephen King one?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Is that even a question?
Talk about Stephen King.
Do it.
Talk about Stephen King.
So I am, super stoked for this next one.
Super stoked.
Wow, I'm in a stupor of being stoked.
What are we stoked about?
Stephen King, right?
The King of Stevens.
The King of Stevens, the King of all Stevens.
Yep.
And go!
Stephen King is an incredible author, has written some incredible things, one of which is The Stand. And The Stand is being turned into a miniseries coming out in December on CBS, All Access, and has some incredible actors and actresses in it. And I'm so pumped because The Stand, it's such a long book.
I heard that reverberate through the
Stand.
microphones.
It's so long, and I have not read it yet, but I know how just iconic it is. There have been some renditions of it in the past, which have
Yeah.
been, decent as they are, and but I'm excited to see kind of a new, fresh take on it, just with all like the capabilities they have nowadays with technology and budget and
Not to mention the rising technology like they're using with the Mandalorian.
Right.
exactly,
Projecting
yeah.
screens.
With just it's I think gonna be really, really epic, and I love that genre anyway, kind of post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Like anything, creatures like zombies, vampires, whatever they might be, like, and just the cast looks amazing. We got Whoopi Goldberg, Alexander Skarsgård, James Marsden, Amber Heard, like just all the people.
James Marsden was in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
From Sonic to the Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
that sounds
Nice.
like some song title or album.
Yeah, really.
To the Stand.
From Sonic to the Stand.
The Stand of Sonic.
Yeah.
Mandalorian is done filming.
Yes, they're releasing it October 30th. All of the episodes. They'll be out. Disney Plus.
So
Goodbye, social life. Grant.
Yeah, really,
Quarantine.
for, like,
Goodbye, social
A
life.
week.
Yes.
Yeah. What social life? For a week, we will be sitting down and probably watching through those episodes.
Yeah.
Because Disney Plus normally their shows they release all of them at one time, and from what I understand, that's what they're doing with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be good.
True. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot that Mandalorian was released episode at a time.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like we have like lost the age of patience of like waiting a
Oh,
week
yeah.
before an episode
Yeah.
now that binge watching has been a thing with
Yeah.
Netflix, which I'm thankful for, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But I remember
AKA
the
Stranger
days-
Things.
Right. I remember
Right.
the days of like the anticipation of
Waiting for the next
and
episode.
literally spacing something out, you
Yeah.
know, and
Different times.
Yeah.
Different times.
Different times.
Yeah.
Different times.
But we are supposed to see some Asako Tano in this from the animated series.
Awesome.
Apparently,
Which I'm
there's
excited
some
about.
crossover timeline-wise, so I'm really interested to see what and how that happens, what that
I'm
looks like.
Very excited about that. I've heard rumors of possibly Luke Skywalker making an appearance. Some of this stuff is like rumored. Things can always be spun so many different ways these days, just by pieces of information, and that's why you have to take rumors with a huge grain of salt.
Yes.
You know, like a block of salt, like one of those salt lamps. That's you got to take it with.
Not much salt.
Until you can confirm it. So, our next item is a very, very, very interesting topic.
Very
and very,
interesting.
very close to my heart. It is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. Okay? So they have Spider-Man 3 coming out at some point. Spider-Man 3 meaning the Spider-Man 3 starring Tom Holland.
Yes.
It has been confirmed that Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro.
Yes.
that's so sick.
Which is so interesting to me because we also saw J.K. Simmons as
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson in the end of Far From
that
Home.
Yeah.
blew my mind. I was
Fascinating.
I don't know what that
was so
how
cool.
that happened
Because
because
he, if for the people who don't know, he was J. Jonah Jameson in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
yes.
And Jamie Foxx was Electro in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yes.
So there's some interesting cross-franchise, if you will, between these different Spider-Man series. It's going to be really
And
interesting.
you know we know that Sony and Marvel and Disney have been working together.
They have an actual agreement
They have an
rather than them
agreement.
being kids in a schoolyard like a year ago. It's fine.
yeah.
Hang on, I
grown
just
up a
wanna
little bit.
Point out, you definitely said
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I knew
Spider-Man?
someone was going to catch
Plural.
that. I definitely.
Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
There were three of them. There's Spider-Man.
Well, I guess it's better than Spider-Man's.
Spider-Man. So yeah, what do you say?
How do you say it?
The 3 different Spider-Man?
I would say Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Not
I
not
see. Spider-Man.
Yeah, not
Just
Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Man.
It's the Spider-Man. Like you're from like the 40s. Like, honey, get out of here! It's the Spider-Man. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like, it's a robot.
yeah. It's right. And that back in the day, in like old Twilight Zone episodes, which I love Twilight
It's
Zone.
a robot.
Yeah, we now say robot. They used to call it a robot. They're like, frankly, dear, I think you'd be better off with the robot.
That Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Slenderman.
Spider-Man. No!
If Sony and Disney / Marvel, if they are strategic about it, a wise choice, in my opinion, would be to cross the universes,
For sure.
much like we saw with Into the Spider-Verse, which was hugely successful.
Yeah. And that was all Sony.
Amazing.
But if they really think about this, work with each other
Yeah.
to bring Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield into Tom Holland's world
Yeah.
as a Spider-Verse crossover. I think it's a fan-made poster.
Yeah, I know.
Here that's
We threw
been
that.
floating
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
online. Oh my gosh, if they don't do this, I don't understand what they're thinking other than
Yeah.
it being just other business stuff going on.
And a lot of fans are probably on the same page as you. A lot of people are reading into Kevin Feige, who is the showrunner of all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Fergie?
Nah, not Fergie.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
It's a little different than Fergalicious.
Feige-licious.
Feigelicious. That's the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Feigelicious.
Feige-licious.
Oh my god.
Amazing. I'm all about this.
Oh my gosh. So, he has been reported to say that Spider-Man is the only hero that has the superpower to cross cinematic universes. So, as Sony continues to develop their Spideyverse, that makes me laugh, you never know what surprises the future might hold.
Are we looking at a live-action cross-universe Spider-Verse
With the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We could be! Who knows? We're all reading into it, but
amazing.
it would be great. It would be great. It's bringing Jamie Foxx is like the big, like,
That's the big
question
thing.
mark.
It makes sense, people. It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It would
It's better.
legitimize the other 2 Spider-Man characters.
Yeah.
And not make them just, they are now in the void of reboot.
Right.
You
The
know?
void, yeah.
Like, make them exist. Go back to watch the original
Talk
Tobey
about Andrew
Maguire
Garfield.
movies. You'd be able to watch those and be like, this actually exists
It has
still.
meaning.
Yeah.
And you know what this would mean is that they could then bring in the live-action Miles Morales and tie
It's
it into
true.
the
I would
first Spider-Man.
love to see a live-action Miles.
That'd be
Oh
so
my
sick.
gosh, that would be so great. Can we have some Nicolas Cage action too?
Yes, a
Some Spider-Man
live
noir.
action
Anyway.
Spider-Man noir. Stranger Things season 4 was delayed because of the coronavirus. As you know, season 3 is out now, and they were filming season 4 and then got delayed. But guess what? They're back filming
They're back. They're
again.
filming. They've been filming as of the beginning of October or end of September.
I love me some Stranger Things. His Dark Materials, aka the Golden Compass.
I hate you all.
His Dark Materials, aka taking place based in the same universe as the Golden Compass.
Golden Compass. It's fine.
Great material, great show.
Yeah.
Season 2 is slated to come out in November
Yep.
on HBO and HBO Max.
I still need to watch that.
Yeah.
I know. We need to watch the first season. It looks really good. It's got
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is in it. I was looking up stuff about this and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Anyone who's a musical theater person, if you've seen Mary Poppins Returns, if you've seen Hamilton, which is now on Disney Plus, Lin-Manuel is the lead in that and wrote it and all that stuff. But
Yep. All right.
the last thing we wanted to bring up is, did you know Keanu Reeves has created and is writing a comic book series called Berserker.
Comic books
Comic
are
books.
awesome.
Comics are awesome.
Seriously, this is so cool. It is a graphic novel series about an immortal warrior. He is plagued by a desire for violence, and he hates it. He doesn't really like that about himself. But he struck a deal with the government, and that he will do the dirty jobs for them that they can't do, that are too dangerous for them, and then they will tell him the truth about who he really is. They had started this on Kickstarter, and their plan was to raise $500,000. They have raised $1.5 million. They reached their goal within 1 hour, the $500,000. Within 1 hour of it starting on Kickstarter. It looks incredible.
Insane.
It looks incredible.
I love that we have an actor like Keanu Reeves who's done tons of movies. He's hugely successful with John Wick.
Yeah.
And he just like...
We haven't gone back to the Matrix. We've got a huge
Matrix,
poster over here.
Well, I want to make comic books. Why not?
Right.
Yeah,
I just want to
literally,
make a comic book.
Like,
Why not?
He was just,
Why
you know,
not?
he likes comic books, and he said he explains this in his Kickstarter video where someone was like, "Hey, you like comic books? Why don't you just make one?" He goes, "Yeah."
So he does
Sure.
his Kickstarter.
I can
and now
totally
he's got
picture like Keanu just sitting there being like, "I want to make a comic book."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
That's
So,
what he says in his video.
It's
He's
just
like,
go
"Do you
watch
wanna-
the
do you wanna
video,
make a comic book?"
guys.
He was like, yeah.
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 He's like, it's like it never crossed his mind, but it made so much sense.
It just clicked in that moment, like, actually, yeah.
But guys, the imagery in the things that they've revealed so far and the coloring is gorgeous. It looks amazing.
Well, guys, it's been fun. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Fantasy News. Remember that the Fantasy Network, you can watch shows, lots of shows, watch shows for free, and you can subscribe to get exclusive content.
That's right.
Yep.
There are Discord channels for you to join and have a conversation about
Discord
your
is so
favorite
fun.
content on the Fantasy Network. Or you can talk about all the stuff we're talking about here on the Discord channels.
Or you can just say,
Hey,
they're really funny people.
The
and
three funny
make
people.
Fun of us and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they so
Boot them off the
ugly.
show.
But guys, let's continue the conversation.
Yes.
That's what this is for.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are announcing the things that are buzzing and budding and brooding and all kinds of
Like
things.
bees that are gonna attack Nicolas Cage.
Yes. Bees!
Not the bees!
We want to continue the conversation,
Yeah.
so let's have that conversation. This is awesome stuff.
It's cool stuff, and
love
there's
it.
stuff coming out every day. So let's keep chatting.
Yeah. All right, that is it. Thank you for joining us on
The Fantasy News.